without further ado, we could do a little official introduction, being that today I am joined by singer and songwriter NOTAHERO, who has been on a tear recently with some EPs and some singles recently, music that I've been liking a lot, music that I would like to pick his brain on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing splendid, bro. Thank you for asking. How
Yeah,
are
of
you doing?
course. I'm doing just fine. Thank you for asking. Um,
That's good to
right,
hear, man.
right out of the gate, I kind of want to talk about your early tracks, develop a timeline, and move forward from there. We can look at tracks like
Sure.
"Long Gone" and "Headlights." At least the earliest available tracks. You've stayed
Right.
fairly consistent with the sound and approach that you operate in, with emo trap kind of being a foundation, a slow shift to a more organic folk sound fueling your work as well. How would you personally classify your sound, and how has your approach to it grown since you first started making music?
I thought about that question like a little while ago because anytime I tell people I make music, they always ask me like, "What type of music do you make?"
Right.
And I'm like, "Well, I have no
It's the
idea."
hardest question
So
in the world to answer.
it is it for some reason because it should be the easiest, but it's not.
No, it's really
Um,
not.
but I kind of came to the conclusion that I would classify like the majority of my music. I would say more alternative singer songwriter, but I guess it's more. I don't know. I always just say diary like or like more introspective. I
Okay.
guess I feel like it's not really those like catchy radio songs, but it's more like the shit you listen to by yourself.
Yeah, something like a pensive singer
Yeah.
songwriter, real intimate sound. How has that changed? Since starting out, what do you know now? How do you feel about it now that you maybe didn't feel when you first started out doing all this?
When I first started making music, I think I was just trying to make music that sounded like other artists I listened to. And when I first started making music, I was really into Juice World. So that's why I feel like that's where a lot of like the more trappy type beats with drums on it, where I would like Long Gone and shit like that. Um, so I guess I just wanted to go for something that's a little bit more popular and yeah, and I feel like I always wanted to make the type of music I'm making now. I always wanted to be able to kind of like be honest on a song and just kind of like dig deeper a little bit. And so I feel like it took me a while to get there, but it's something I'm proud of. Yeah.
Yeah. And in reference to maybe feeling like your songs are a bit more personal, a bit more maybe authentic in the lyrics these days. A lot of your songs, especially recently, have boasted lyrics with highly detailed imagery and increasingly specific narrative points. Most recently in Purgatory 2, with lines like the tree that I parked my skateboard out when I was young. In your experiences, exciting, mundane, whatever, what in your mind qualifies as a shareable experience for you? How do you decide which little moments of your life should be included in a song, should be included in the narrative of what you're working on?
Damn, that's a good ass question.
Thank you.
Um, I'm happy you picked that up because like it is something I've been conscious of lately when I've been making music. Making lyrics, even if it's just one or two that's more detailed than the rest, even if it only applies to you, I feel like just makes any type of like art so much more real and so much more authentic. I just like to kind of go into detail on specific things that happen. It's so hard to like pinpoint what makes me think of it, but I guess just stuff that I'm conscious of when I'm doing it. Like,
Yeah.
damn, like this, I'm doing this right now, and it's making me feel this certain type of way, and that might kind of vibe in a song. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, it might inform the rest of the lyrics, even if, like you said, like with one or two lines kind of lie within that realm of specificity or whatever, it might kind of help establish a tone for everything else that might not be as overtly detailed.
Hmm. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And I've also noticed, and on the topic of songwriting as well, I've noticed a trend in the interviews that I've done where artists express that some of their favorite ideas, lyrics, or entire songs have kind of gone undernoticed, and then their maybe less creatively charged works have exceeded expectations in terms of audience reception. What is something you've done, a lyric you've written, a song you've made, just something you've done that you wish maybe more people would have paid attention to? There would have been more reception to that idea.
I just want to look at like some of the streams on some of my songs because one that definitely comes to mind right away would be Off Switch,
Right.
and I made it a year ago, and it was kind of the first or second song that really I grew a liking to doing that rapping over piano or just singing over piano. Um, and I feel like that was one of those songs where I felt like I was just able to capture how I felt in a certain time period, how I wanted it to be captured.
Yeah.
Um, because sometimes it's just hard to be as real as you can when you're kind of confined in a beat or in a flow or in a rhyme. But that everything about that song just flowed so well to me, and I feel like I have other songs that are maybe more catchy or just have more I guess potential and becoming more popular.
Yeah.
And they kind of overshadow the more real intimate songs.
Yeah. So that song was like a very pivotal moment for you, and kind of
Yeah.
what you knew that you could do, in terms of making
Yeah.
music. I know that there's this interesting
It opened up
relationship.
like a new lane, I guess.
Yeah.
Sorry, I cut you off
Oh
on
no, you're totally fine.
that.
We're here for you, man. Don't worry about it. But piggybacking off that, there's this interesting sort of dynamic, especially when you work in a fairly online oriented scene where bits and pieces of work is maybe from outside sources, whether it be production, whether it be from mixing
Mhm.
or whatever. And sometimes you have to work within the confines of limitations. Um,
Yeah.
and maybe this idea of maybe at the time not having the capacity to reach the idea that you have in your head. So
Mhm.
with that in mind, how do you feel like your technical abilities as an artist, maybe not necessarily as a singer or as a songwriter, but into the more nitty gritty side of things, how do you feel like those have developed over time? And how much of an emphasis do you put on technical cleanliness over maybe the emotion of the song?
A moment that changed my whole mixing career was just learning how to use reverb the right way.
Okay,
Because
that's
I feel like
a good point.
I feel I feel like every artist that first starts out, like, their shit is just drowned in reverb or like it's way too like that it's too high, it's too
Just
like
drenched.
it's just drenched in something. It's drenched in something. And I really learned that less is actually more. I like what the YouTube videos are telling you that like that's true. Like less is actually more.
What the
You
YouTube
want to think
tutorials
so,
is
but
saying
it
are right.
I'm sitting there watching like, nah, dude, I got this, bro. Um, but yeah, no, like when I was still trying to find my sound, it was a lot more of worrying about the technical things, like how maybe trying to do a cool effect or trying to impress people with what I thought that I knew.
Right.
Um, but since kind of developing like Not a Hero as a whole, and especially this past year, I think I've been more focused on just trying to create more of a window into my life rather than something that sounds good. Which obviously I still want it to sound good and I still try my best, but it's more stripped down now. It's more
Yeah.
raw, and it's I'm not trying as hard to impress people, I feel like.
Yeah. I think it's a great way to look at it. I feel like a lot of artists have sort of had that revelation, where once you kind of understand all the technical side of it, that's when you can sort
Mhm.
of stray away from it. You mentioned starting this project and developing sort of the Naughty Hero music, and
Mhm.
I remember talking with Gianni recently, Shinigami, and
Yeah.
he briefly sort of shed away that Shinigami name. He felt like it maybe wasn't representative of the aesthetic style personality of his music today. So that being said, how do you feel like what does the name Not a Hero mean to you in the
Mhm.
context of your music, outside of the context of your music, and how has, if at all, that name and the meaning changed since you first kind of branded yourself with it?
First off, I think it's funny how like my name's not a hero, but everybody calls me Hero. Like
I
as like
I the
short.
irony of that
I
is
don't care. I think
obvious.
it's cool.
I
I
call you
like the
that.
nickname. So yeah, yeah, I'm totally cool with it. It's so funny to me the first time that happened. When I first named myself Not a Hero, it was right after my really corny, crappy name, and I deleted all my music
What
and
was your
switched to
corny
Not a
crappy
Hero.
name? You got to
You don't
tell
even
us.
want to know
Melmage
that.
exclusive. You have to tell us.
So my real name is Nick.
Okay.
Dude, and I fucking my name was Nick the Rockstar, all one
Nick the
word. And it's
Rockstar.
so bad, dude.
Oh,
It's
that's
so bad, bro.
great. Here,
And I even make anything near rock music too.
I'll make you feel a bit better. My last name is Carlton, Carlton,
Mm.
and for a long time, not my music name, but for a long time, my name on everything was
Yeah.
Carlton Bomb, just Carlton Bomb,
Okay.
and so I couldn't change it on like Steam and stuff, and so like to this day,
It's still
I'm
that.
branded with that. Yeah.
Oh, dude, I let me take you a step further, bro. When I first like got a phone and I had to make an Apple account, my dad was helping me make the nickname, and I was like, he's like, "What do you like?" And I was like, "Shit, I fuck with like the color green." And I was like, "Why don't I name myself Green Cows with a Z? Fuck it." And that is something that I didn't realize that you can't change with everything. Like my Steam
Yeah.
account's Green Cow, all of my so bad, dude.
I like the idea of
Um,
your dad being like, "What are you interested in?" And you're just like, "The color green." I'm
I
really into
fuck
that
with
these
green.
days. Yeah, I'm big into green these days.
Cows are kind of cool too, man. So
Oh my
and
god.
but back back to the actual question. Um, I wanted to make something that's more serious and more like more me and less cringy, dude. So and at the time, I guess was when I was like I was in kind of a rough place, and I was like, you know, I feel like the stuff that I'm doing right now, or like the people I'm hanging around, aren't really like the best, and it's not something that I want people to try to copy or imitate, especially because I had a little brother. Like I have a little brother, and like he was growing up too. And I was like, I don't want to be a hero, bro. So like, fuck it, I'm not a hero then.
All right, there we
And I
go. A
was
little
like,
bit
let me make it
backstory.
all one word too. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Um, and yeah, I like the name, and I've gotten a decent amount of compliments on it, which is good. I don't know if I'm gonna change it. I don't think I will. I don't think that it really relates to like the music that I make now. Like the themes it does, but just you don't really picture like a an acoustic singer-songwriter named Not a Hero. So,
Well,
but I
maybe
don't know. I
there's
like it.
subversion there. You know, maybe
There you
that's
go.
that has value on its own. I have one more
Yeah,
question
true.
about songwriting, just because I
Yeah,
value yours a lot, and I would like to get your thoughts on it.
yeah.
But I've noticed that in music and underground emo especially, kind of like the unique facets and functions of this scene.
Mhm.
There's this happening where lyrics at a certain point become circular in a way, breaking
Yeah.
the fourth wall. You know, basically song making songs about making songs, right? So, what routine, practice, mindset, whatever, do you rely on when finding yourself in a creative rut? When kind of finding yourself writing in circles, how do you tackle writer's block, or how do you tackle overt repetition in your writing?
Honestly, if I had like the a perfect answer to that question, I would be making so much more music because I feel like every time I drop, especially when I drop an EP, I like just automatically kind of go into a rut, and I'm like, well, how am I going to make something better than this?
Yeah,
So it's hard. It's really hard trying to get out of a rut, especially like when you have so much like I guess thoughts or not even inspiration, but like some sort you have something inside of you that you want to get out, and just nothing comes out. It's
sure.
like I think what helps me sometimes is just making a crappy song, not trying to make a song crappy, but make us finish a song even if I don't like it, because
Yeah,
that kind of sometimes just breaks the barrier, or just doing stuff like going out. Sometimes I like recording with other people, and like even if I'm just sitting there kind of mixing or producing them, it kind of gets me inspired. Like, okay, well, I kind of want to do my own thing now. So it's just where if you want to make something, make a crappy song. But if you feel like you can't make anything, just go out and do something, or give it like a day or two.
yeah, yeah.
Nothing
Find something
wrong
to
with that.
experience that might
Yeah, yeah.
help get
Spark up
things
some
moving.
energy, or yeah, open up the window, or do something.
Yeah, and on the topic of writing with people, working with people, by this point you've developed a bit of a posse. You know, Brecken, Kadamo, Big Wappa, as well
Oh
as
yeah.
keeping your production tightly knit as well. With most of your instrumentals coming from the same few sources. You know, AC,
Yeah.
Under the Maple Tree, Ryan Kelly.
Mhm.
How
Mhm.
has keeping additional influence on your tracks fairly strict, being working with a smaller group of people, influence the direction and growth of your music? How have they helped you sort of develop your
Mm.
own work?
Dude, I wouldn't be like anywhere if it wasn't for like the people you listed. So it's they definitely have inspired not only inspired me, but just kind of helped me get to where I want to be. I don't know, I feel like when you work with whether it's another artist or whether you work with a producer for long enough, you start to kind of it's like your favorite artist. Every time they drop something, you're gonna like it no matter what.
Yeah,
And so it's a mix of that where it's like everything they're pumping out is like I need to record on this or I need to like be on this open. Um, but it's just it almost feels like they know you too and they kind of know what you want at that point. Like I have to give a shout out to Under the Maple Tree because when I I don't know. I first started using his beats like I feel like a year ago, and then when I made Purgatory, I was like, I need to like get in contact with this dude because like I need more of this. Um, and now we're close. Like he makes me custom beats, and he knows. I feel like he knows what I wanna where I wanna go with my music and stuff. And same for like people like Carter, Ryan Kelly, just a lot of people who are really nice and really kind of open to what you want to make, and they just kind of supply you. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and you also you mentioned your EPs as well, and I've
Yeah.
noticed that you are a singles man for sure. No full length albums
Oh
under your
yeah.
belt yet,
Yeah.
and only
Uh-huh.
two EPs, both around the past year or so. Do you
Yeah.
plan on venturing into the territory of a full length project, or would you prefer to keep pumping out one song at a time, maintaining the structure that's gotten you to this point?
I'm like a really big overthinker when it comes to my music and how it's gonna be like perceived, and I have this fear that if I drop an album, it's gonna do so like shit. Like it's just not gonna like do good.
Right.
Um and I mean that might be wrong, but I feel like I've been kind of taking the safe route with it where I'm on a strict schedule, like upload at least like a single every other week, and just kind of make EPs when I feel inspired enough. But I really want to do an album soon. I don't know how long I want it to be or what it's even gonna sound like, but I really want to do an album. Just if not for anything else, just like for myself to be able to say that I did it.
Yeah, just to mark it off the bucket list.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
All right. I
yeah,
have got
definitely.
a few more questions for you. We are going to shift gears a little bit here because you are one tricky bastard to write questions for. All of your social media presence is fairly limited,
Yeah.
especially for operating in such an online driven community. So, and
Mhm.
kind of piggybacking off of the idea of this anxiety around releasing a full length project, releasing an album,
Mhm.
how much of your attention is given to the brand aspect of Not a Hero, promoting your music, and what value do you find in being generally an offline person?
Nowadays, everybody's online, and that kind of makes things a little bit scary in a way where like always being online, I feel like I'm just gonna become like an asshole, like just like a bad person. Like I just see everybody
Just a
online
bad
like
guy in
being so
general.
mean. Yeah, yeah. I feel like everybody online's so mean, and so it's like makes me shy away from that type of stuff. But I really want to like I want to get out there more, and because I feel like that's a big part in kind of evolving as an artist and just getting more popular is just like being online, whether it's just you're taking pictures of yourself or you're doing reels and shit. So it's something I'm definitely want to venture into pretty soon. I think it's also that and just like a mix of like not having like the attention span to edit things and post them, I guess.
I
It's
get
like a
that.
mix of fear and laziness.
It's very competitive too. I mean, you
Oh yeah.
really got to
Uh-huh.
keep up with, especially I've seen those Instagram rappers. I've seen how
Oh
much they
yeah.
post.
Oh
It's
yeah, dude.
absurd.
It's like it's insane. It's insane. That's why I'm really like impressed with Weepings because he's like been posting out a lot of reels lately and like they're all just so well made where it's like fuck like I don't even know if I could do that shit.
Yeah, like
I want to
scares
make
you
it
from
look
even
good
trying
too.
it.
Like yeah, I don't want to post something if it's not gonna like look good.
Yeah, my
You know what I mean?
coworker the other day told me was like, "You need to get on TikTok," and I was like, "I can't." Like, I trust me,
I can't.
I know
Yeah.
that I can't. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't
Uh-huh.
keep up.
Uh-huh. It's
Um,
it's it's a lot.
so I've got two more questions for you.
Mhm.
One, both kind of being conclusive, both kind of
Okay.
feeling final to the interview. The
Mhm.
first one being that now that you've sort of been in the middle of all of this for a couple years at this point, what are some short and long term goals that you have set your sights on? Something that you just kind of want to accomplish through your music.
Short term, I want to do a show. I want to get a show out probably by the end of this year, hopefully, with like a bunch of my friends and anybody else that wants to come or perform or whatever. I want to make some merch. I don't know if that's like a short-term goal. I feel like that's just like a medium length type of
Yeah,
goal.
somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, somewhere in the middle. I don't know. I think I want to increase the average amount of streams I get, I guess. I
Yeah,
just want to
sure.
get bigger. So I want to make an album. I want to I just want to get more people in, get more people to listen, and just try to like fucking speak to people. You know what I mean? I feel like that's like one of the main reasons why I record and just make music is just to see if I can be of some sort of assistance to anybody.
Yeah.
Um, and long term, damn, I don't know long term. That's hard. I wanna build the Amiro brand.
Hell yeah.
I want that shit to get bigger, man. That's like that's something that I always am gonna want to grow and just kind of lean into and hopefully do like shows with them and shit. That would be awesome.
Yeah, hell yeah. And the final question of the interview on the greatest music platform on earth: what do you have to say to anybody listening? What is just something you want to platform yourself with? If just anybody out there listening was hanging on to every word you said, what would those words be?
Man, keep making music. Um, when I first started making music, I sucked and I got made fun of, and everything I made sounded like shit, wasn't even on key. I
Nice.
didn't know how to sing, no idea how to sing. I still don't really know how to sing, but I just know how to make music a little bit better. So don't give up. Try to make friends. Try to connect with people if you want to grow, because that's, I think, is the best possible way to get bigger or to start getting bigger is just make connections and record with people. um get stuff out there. Shout out to my fucking friends, dude. Like everybody knows who they are at this point, but um I wouldn't be where I'm at without them, musically and just like in life. Try to have fun in your life, bro, and just like make some music, man. Make some music and listen to my music.
Make some music and listen to Naughty Heroes music. I endorse that message
Hell
as
yeah.
well. Thank you so much for your time, man.
Thank you. Dude, thank you, bro.